Welcome to Revlog, where Aaron teaches us words like smarmy.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and
We've gotten so much good
we've gotten
out of
a
smarmy.
lot of good traction out of
That's
that.
right.
And where Bryan brings 70s cultural references.
Oh, that's great. And he's got a sponsor back.
And his sponsor is back.
They've returned.
There's a write-in campaign, and I'm so glad. I'm so glad it's working for you.
That's right. Yeah, we're grateful. I'm glad you're here,
All
Bryan.
I have to do is pay attention to certain clauses,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
right.
my
We're good to
contract
go.
is good. Yeah.
There we go.
So this week, we are in 2 Samuel 16.
That's right.
The whole chapter continuing the Absalom story. So let's dive in. Saga, yes, the Absalom saga. So, Bryan, help us. Give us your initial thoughts on 2 Samuel 16.
This is an instance of David's saying, "Where is God?" Not in so many words, but his behavior is that of an humble. He's barefooted. As he leaves, he's covered his head. He's not saying, "Why me?" but he's saying, "Where is God?" I think. I mean, you could say, well, his behavior is insincere. I don't think it is. I think he is simply.
You're talking about when he's dealing with this man from the house of
Well,
Saul? You're talking about that?
exactly. As he's being pelted with
being
with
made fun of,
obscenities and
right.
dirt, and
Right.
literal dirt,
Right.
and all of that. He's just walking up the Mount of Olives, and he's barefooted like a pauper. I think he's humbling
So
himself.
is that a moment of strength for David?
Yes.
Are you seeing him more of like a weak questioning of life rather than a moment of strength?
I think this is where his strength comes from. I think he's weak at this point, but I think he is embracing that. And that's I think that's his redeeming. I think that is his redeeming quality, is that he says in these kinds of times, he always says, "Where is God?"
Yeah, gotcha. So he's still returning to God and probably returning to writing psalms and those kinds of things in these moments,
I think some
right?
of the best psalms come out of that kind of
Yeah, that's
behavior.
good. I mean, you want to build on that? You want to tell us your thoughts
Well,
there, Aaron?
What I see is Mephibosheth, and I just wanted to say the name.
Mephibosheth.
Mephibosheth.
There you go.
I see
Bless
here,
you.
Thank you. Yes. I see David continuing to treat his friends and his friends' family better than he does his own.
Yeah.
And I see this as a real moment of, come on, David.
Yeah.
You really have honored your commitment to Jonathan, to Saul, and to uphold that line and to treat them well. You said you would, and you have.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you
That's good.
you're running away from a confrontation with your son. You're not going to sit down and just let's have this out.
Well, let me say, I mean, I've been guilty of that. Why do we treat other people better than we treat our family? Why do we do that?
That is a great question. Do we have enough time?
don't
That
know.
is a great question.
Yeah.
I actually have some thoughts related to that for later, but I think that this is a recurring instance in David's life that
Yeah,
he
I agree.
he sees the whole better than he sees the individual, right
Yeah.
in front of him. But I'll say, if this had been any other despot, he would have ratcheted up the hostilities immediately. But again,
Right.
David is just
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think on some levels he's praised for that. I mean, he's the man in power, and he actually refuses to use that power.
That's
and
correct.
sort of leaves his strength behind.
He
Like you
does.
said, sort of walks in the weakness. Yeah, I mean, he could have called down all kind of fire upon Absalom.
That's right.
And he didn't.
That's
you
right.
know, and
That's
sort
right.
of held back in that. So, I mean, were those your initial thoughts, Aaron? Anything?
Yeah,
there?
I mean, he held back on it, and yet you don't have to bring down the whole kingdom.
Yeah.
To sit down and talk, and it's
Right,
kind of
I
all or
agree.
nothing with David.
That's right.
That
That's
is
right.
exactly right. And when it's nothing, it is nothing.
Yeah.
And but I will say that he does give us a baseline of humility here, against which we see in sharp relief everybody else's treachery. I mean, here's a seemingly loyal Ziba that that turns out to be in later chapters, lo and behold, a traitor.
Yeah.
You know. And we see Ahithophel's treachery and
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, it is a spoiler alert. Sorry.
3,000-year-olds.
Yeah.
Fast forward to the end of the movie, and you'll see. what's
So,
going on.
so Bryan, any questions that came from this text for you? What was a question you
Yes.
have of the text?
I think I would ask: Will we will we pay attention to will I pay attention to what I see as David's saving grace? In other words, where is God? Rather than, why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
Why does everything always happen to me? What did I do to deserve this? I'm better than this. Where is God? At least that question gets you somewhere good.
Right. That's good.
That's well said. I will also say at the end of this chapter, as we see decades after this initial incident with Bathsheba, we see this curse or this consequence carried out.
Exactly.
The end of the chapter is so hard to read that God said this will be done in front of everybody.
Yep.
That from your own household. They will, and it's just awful to read.
As awful as it is, it's the word of the Lord proven true.
That's right, and it may not come tomorrow. It may be. So that's a hard thing. My question is just, David says, "Don't do anything to this guy that's throwing insults and rocks at me, because God told him to curse me." And so you wonder, did God really tell him to curse him? I mean, is that really a word from the Lord? Go curse that guy?
That's a good question.
And then I hear the words of Jesus saying, "Blessed are those who are persecuted for my sake." That and sometimes you come under that.
But I think that's just it. David, that's that humility that maybe God not in so many words said that, but this is the result of some things that were set in motion a long time ago with David.
Yeah. And you do kind of in that moment, David's still asking that question that you brought up. So where's God?
Yeah.
Where's God? Help us walk through this. Help us answer these questions in the comments below. We would love to hear from you. Thanks.